As far as all the drama around Don't Worry Darling is concerned, I think hearing about all the bullshit around this movie, it definitely brought it down a peg. I found myself judging performances that I normally wouldn't even think about. Except for Florence, of course. She's an angel. All I can say is, when it comes to Harry Styles and learning to swallow his pride, it looks like that dude's a spitter. Okay, so we're not really given a beginning to this story. We're just kind of thrown into a day in the life of Florence Pugh. She and her husband Harry Styles, they live in this community that was built by Chris Pine, and it's way out in the desert. It looks like it takes place in the 50s. Stepford Wives scenario. Every day, all the husbands go to work, and the wives live their lives, and they're not allowed to ask the husbands what they do for work. It's all one big mystery with Florence at the heart of it. Florence fucking Pugh, as usual, gives an amazing performance. Something happens that triggers her to kind of lose her mind in this weird community. And she kind of has to figure her way out of this maze, while her husband keeps getting pulled further and further into it as he becomes a bigger part of the community. I'm a big fan of Florence Pugh. I think I always will be. Harry Styles was fine. I don't see him winning any Oscars in the future.
My favorite thing about the movie is it feels like a movie. It feels like a real go to the theater film movie.
But in this, I'd say he was good enough. His role for most of the time didn't require more than what he could deliver. I'll say that. He's kind of a big part of this mystery, so we don't see or know much about him at all, except for he likes to bang it out with his wife and obey his boss, Chris Pine. Okay, I'm not going to dive into the drama aspect of this, but I do know that Shia LaBeouf was supposed to play this role originally, and that didn't work out. But here I find myself the whole time thinking Shia LaBeouf would have done much better, especially near the end. The acting that is required eventually of that character, Shia LaBeouf would have killed it. Harry Styles was subpar. Chris Pine is the leader of this community. You get a cult leader vibe from him. And as far as that goes, I thought he was great. I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to ruin the mystery. Don't Worry Darling was not my favorite. It's not horrible, and it's totally watchable. I just don't think it's very good. The problem is the entire story hinges on the mystery itself. So they just tiptoe around the mystery for like an hour and a half. This means you get zero backstory, zero character development, and just some weird dream sequences for most of the time. I've mentioned this before. If you don't develop characters, it's hard to care about what happens to the characters later on. Totally understand if they don't want to ruin that mystery, but you gotta do something better with these characters. I want to give a shit. I really do, but I really just didn't. And it's because there's some building blocks missing along the way. In that build to the big twist, I wasn't a fan of all these surface level conversations because they're trying to hide the mystery. So you get a surface level conversation followed by something kind of weird that we already saw in the trailer. And that turned into this cycle and it got kind of repetitive. This is missing a lot of structure, but everything to build that structure, it is here. So it's not horrible. It's just not connecting well. The acting is great, besides Harry, he's just fine. So Chris Pine and Florence Pugh, they have this weird rivalry going on. And considering the small amount of time they have on screen together, their interactions don't make a lot of sense. Found myself thinking, where are you two building these conclusions from? I feel like they had more scenes together that were probably cut, and I think that hurt the movie. In the trailer, you see Chris Pine like, oh, I've waited for someone like you to challenge me. And it's like, this is the second time you guys have ever spoken. What the fuck are you talking about, man? The twist, the big mystery, once it hit, I thought it was pretty cool. It's a pretty decent idea, and I like where the story went from there. I like the end of this movie. The problem is, the twist itself makes me think back to earlier shit that happened in the movie, And that starts to make less and less sense. Cool twist made me question the plot. And while I'm thinking about this, the movie's still going on. I started to question how these characters are doing things and why they're doing the things that they're doing. And unfortunately, if you follow that line of questioning to the end of the road, the conclusion is this is kind of stupid. You just got to accept that twist without putting any further thought into it. I know that you can probably break down a lot before the twist and find meaning in it, and I would assume that they're trying to put meaning into things. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's as deep as they want it to be. I don't think I watched this and thought that you require a high intellect to get it. The twist is cool. I did not see that coming. I'll give it that. So yeah, it was fine. I just don't think that the build-up to the twist was executed very well. It could be a much better story, considering that this is Olivia Wilde's second time directing, and I liked Booksmart so much. This was, disappointing. Loved Booksmart, and this, feel like she's not handling the pressure very well. You got all this drama happening, it's all caving in on her. I did not hate it, okay? I just don't feel like ever watching it again. Florence is great. The end is cool. You don't need to see it in theaters. You can wait. See ya! Subscribe! I feel like I'm saying the word mystery so much. I got that one mystery song in my head. What is that? Only known a mystery. Who had all day? Holding down a mystery. What is that? Sarah McLachlan building a mystery. That's what it is. And that's what they did not do. They didn't build a mystery. Full circle.